The Zavarian Brothers and the staff of the Zavarian Brothers Sponsored Schools Office would like to thank you for your willingness to serve as the member of a board of one of our 13 schools. In this video, we are going to talk about the role of a board member and how it fits into the model of Zavarian sponsorship. The brothers have established a vision by which they can say that a school which calls itself Zavarian lives up to that vision. In the materials sent to you when you were appointed to the board, you received a document titled Mission, Vision, Values, Calls, Goals, and Criteria of Zavarian Education. That document contains the vision of the Zavarian charism of education, and it is important that you become familiar with its contents. The sponsorship model has 3 additional elements: the governance structure of which you are becoming a part, networking opportunities among the member schools, and formational programs. In the course of your service on a school board that calls itself Zavarian, you will come in contact with all 3 of these elements. In this video, we will talk about the governance structure and how that is lived out by board members. Sponsorship is rooted in the Zavarian charism and is enhanced by each of us as we live it out. So while the governance structure has been established, it is continually evolving to meet the needs of our schools. The governance structure is rooted in mission, and it is parallel in all 13 of our Zavarian schools. It is a partnership that is collaborative in style between the brothers and the board members. There are 13 Zavarian schools, and you will see the names of those schools on the chart that is now being displayed. The schools are not the same by any means. Some are large, some very small. Some are coeducational, some single-sex. Some are in large cities, and some in more rural areas. But they have in common a vision and a structure which is uniquely Zavarian. The board structure has 3 elements. The first is tied to the leadership of the Zavarian Brothers. The leadership of the congregation is elected every 6 years in a general chapter. Leadership consists of a general superior, who is the leader of the brothers, and a vicar general, who is their second or vice president. There is also a council of brothers who advise and support the general superior. That council has some reserved powers by bylaws over your school. The powers are limited in nature, and they are tied to the canon law of the Catholic Church. The first one is the mission of the school. In order for a school to call itself Catholic, a school must be sponsored by a religious order or by a diocese. In the case of your school, that Catholic identity comes from the Zavarian Brothers. The second element has to do with the property on which your school is located. When church property is in the hands of a religious community, that community must have final say as to whether that property is sold or if there is any change in the status of that property. This is specified by the canon law or church law of the Catholic Church. There is a second group associated with Zavarian governance that you will see on the chart that is being displayed. That group is called the XBSS members, and it also has reserved powers over your school. The XBSS members are appointed by the leadership of the Zavarian Brothers. They also hold the 2 reserved powers which I just discussed. Any change in the mission of the school and the alienation of property must first be approved by the members before that moves to the congregational leadership. In addition, the appointment of the boards of our schools is controlled by the XBSS members. You will note that the letter of appointment you received to your board was signed by the chair of the members of the corporation of your school. Your letter was not signed by the chair of your board, as you may have expected. Our boards are not self-perpetuating, but board members are appointed by an outside group known as the XBSS members. A fourth reserved power has to do with the corporate documents for your school. The XBSS members control the bylaws of all of the schools. They must also approve any associated legal entity. Should a school want to create and separately incorporate, for instance, a foundation for the school, that foundation would have to be approved by the XBSS members. Another reserved power held by this group is tied to encumbrance of the property. Should the school take out a loan which encumbers the property, that decision could not be made by the local board itself, but would have to be approved by the members. There is also a process called mission effectiveness, which each school completes periodically. This evaluates how the school is living its Xaverian mission. That process is guided by the sponsorship office, and the report which is produced as a result is submitted to the XBSS members. All other responsibilities for the school are in the hands of your local board. The appointment of the head of school, the fiduciary responsibility for the school, setting and approving the strategic plan, and all the other things that schools must do to run effectively are controlled by the local board. With your appointment letter, you received a board handbook. In that board handbook, you will note that there are several standing committees. You will serve on a standing committee, and your head of school will explain how the meetings of those committees are structured and how the committees relate to the full board. By agreeing to serve on the board of one of the Xaverian schools, you have changed your relationship with that school. You are responsible for the future of your school as it continues to live out the vision the brothers have established for it. It is an awesome responsibility, but the Xaverian brothers have confidence that you will not only live up to that responsibility, but move it forward into a bright and tremendous future for your school. Thank you so much for your service on the board of a Xaverian Brothers sponsored school.